Hello there and welcome to my introductory video on science enterprise. But first I would like to tell you why I'm making this video. So I'm making this video because there is this notion that science and business cannot marry each other. Like you cannot be a scientist and have an appreciable understanding of business and how business operates. You cannot be a scientist and begin to talk or use some of the terms that are used in business by the business people, talking about the KPI, value chain, etc. Because these are kind of business thing, not scientific. So, and it is also not uncommon to see PhD student in science not willing or not enthusiastic to talk about or attend talks or read books that are non-scientific, say for example marketing. So you see individuals in science, from master student, PhD student, postdoc, unintentionally often restrict science to the confines of the laboratory and academia and publication, etc. So everyone follows the pattern. It's the default pattern that everyone talk about. Oh, you finish your MSc. Okay, what about PhD? Then your postdoc, then your second postdoc, then your third postdoc. Oh, before you now begin to, progress into becoming a lecturer and then grow to become a professor. And yeah, that's the default pattern, and that's perfectly fine. It's okay. Yeah, but science goes beyond lecture hall and the laboratory. It extends beyond publications. Here's the thing. Let's have a look at it this way. A great scientist, you just make some fantastic research output or finding, but without the knowledge, some basic or some understanding of how business operates, it would be difficult. It may be difficult for you to transform this fantastic research finding into something productive. I mean, something more productive beyond publication in the best of journals, as in Nature, for example. On the flip side, this is where we should really should consider a blend. On the flip side, you have the business professionals who are able to see the opportunities that scientists won't see. We understand the ecosystem of business, the demand, the supply, the opportunities. There are even opportunities that will benefit scientists, but they are also not able to, they do not have the know-how, the technical and the scientific understanding and knowledge to, to tackle some of these complex problem or to provide this solution. So the plan is to connect the dot between science and business and uncover the hidden opportunity that lies in between. So these opportunities are there, but not many PhD students, as far as I know, I mean, the ones that I have interacted with, are aware of this opportunity. So I'm going to be telling you about that. So if you are in science, if you are doing an MSc, PhD, postdoc, or even if you are an established scientist, stay tuned because we're about to delve into these less explored areas. By the way, my name is Hamid. I'm a PhD student in biosciences at Newcastle University. And yeah, and I'm also a 2024 fellow of Newcastle University Policy Academy. Yeah, I'm proud of that too. Yeah, Policy Academy Fellow 2024. So here's an excellent example of what I'm talking about. It's an example of what I'm talking about. So you see, Dr. Albrecht followed the pattern to a stage, and then he didn't see becoming a professor or a lecturer as the ultimate goal or the ultimate career option for his PhD. I mean, for him, because he has a PhD. So what did he do? He ventured into consulting. He has a PhD in molecular oncology, and then he moved on to join, he did a postdoc, and then he moved on to join McKinsey and Company as a science consultant. Now, his work his work covers the entire value chain of cancer, from cancer discovery to the medicine and all, just anything about cancer. His work covers that, and then he has interaction with industry, people in business, people in the government, etc., and even scientists. So this is an example of what I'm talking about. Yeah, you might have noticed that this is what I'm passionate about as well. So I call it science enterprise. I've used different terms before to say to express what I'm passionate about, but I see science enterprise as kind of all encompassing, because when I say science enterprise, for me, I mean the science itself, have a background of science, have good, solid understanding of science. So meaning that you probably would have a PhD. Then we talk about the business part of science. It also encompasses science consulting, and then science policy, science innovation, and entrepreneurship. So that's what is difficult. Entrepreneurship. Okay, that's it. I got it. So this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm passionate about, and this is precisely what you should expect. In terms of content from me. So I'll be exploring this, but not we're talking about science, but not in a traditional way. Like I'm not going to be talking about what many people talk about when they talk about science, but I'll be talking about it from the perspective, from the angle of the scientific solutions and innovation, and how they intersect with the real world impact and business. And I feel this is the a kind of the tangible value, the tangible commercial and business value that science offer. Because what science offers is it's beyond publication. Research should not end in publication, or a PhD student should not see, oh, I've published, or I'm going to become a postdoc, or I'm going to become a professor as the only option, as though if they are not doing that, they are not making an impact. No, you can make an impact, just as the person I showed earlier. So from me, expect curated content on business side of science, consulting, and policy side of science. I'll be exploring topics such as commercializable scientific discoveries. I'll be talking about science consulting firms and what they do, who is a consultant, how do they get there, and some of the tips on how to become a consultant for those who are interested. I'm not an expert, but yeah, I'm learning and sharing with you, and I've had a kind of interaction or chat with people who are in that field, some partner in some of these big consulting firms. And luckily, this big consulting firm that we know about now have the department or a section for life science consulting, making the opportunity for PhD students wider and wider. But how to get there is a thing to really learn. These are the things that I will be covering in my content. So we talk about science startup and biotech industry, like we call it in Newcastle, spin out companies like science startup that develop from a student project or student PhD research and like that. So these are the things we'll be talking about. Also be talking about science policy news and their impact, recent science policy news, and this I would curate from several sources, from science, the Royal Society of Biology, and some other sources from the policy groups in America and Europe, which I follow and I belong. So we'll also be talking about funding for scientific ventures. Yeah, this is not the same as funding for scientific research. So here we're talking about funding for scientific ventures where investors come in. And luckily, yeah, for people doing PhD under the BBSRC, you have the opportunity to partake in some the years. Essentially, that will expose you to to scientific ventures and how to pitch your ideas, how to pitch your solution to prospective or potential investors. So this I'll be partaking in this year, hopefully, inshallah. So these are the things I'll be covering. I'm talking about the emerging trend in science and more and more and more. So stay tuned. If you are interested in what I'm talking about or what I've been trying to sell to you, so stay tuned, subscribe, and let's explore together. Let's learn, explore, and share together. So in my next video, I'll be talking about there are these opportunities from one of these big science consulting, not consulting itself, big science firm. There are some big science firm which have an opening now. Huge opportunity there, which I'm going to talk about, and how to get in there, because getting in there, it's not enough. Oh, I finished my PhD, this is my certificate, I have so and so publication. There are some tips. What they require is beyond the PhD, and these are the things that I'll be talking about, because I'm passionate about it and I'm learning about it too. I'll also be covering some case tips on how to how to handle case interview and real life experience. I'll come up with different case scenarios to learn and share from, hopefully. So stay tuned, subscribe, and see you in my next video. Thank you very much.